What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strydent, and I'm back on another G.I. Joe review. It's been a while, huh? Probably my first G.I. Joe review of the year, the new year. Anyway, you guys know I love Rise of Cobra, the toy line. The movie was meh, but the toy line was quite amazing. There were a lot of really well-done figures. I don't care what anyone says. A lot of well-connected figures, you know, very consistent design. And an example of this is the G.I. Joe Pit Trooper. This was kind of the Joe Trooper, you know, the previous movie's Joe Trooper. It's extremely hard to find for a decent price, and I got lucky, and I was tooling around on YouTube, on eBay, and I managed to find two of them for a decent price. I paid $15 a piece. Normally, you see these guys, and they were loose, actually. Normally, you see these guys for like 40 or 50 a piece, you know. So I was just like, you know, I had wrote them off, and then I saw them when I was looking up Resolute stuff, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get them. And what is amazing about these figures is, I mean, it's a simple body. It's a modified 25th anniversary Dusty figure. I don't have any pictures of him because my son has his figures put away, but all of the weaponry and all of the added, you know, accessories help give this guy a personality of his own. Plus, he doesn't have Dusty's trademark hat. But I mean, he comes with so much crap, and there's so many, you know, so many options when it comes to army building for this guy that it's just amazing. Previously, I had two Joe Troopers that didn't have heads or hands, so I kind of screwed with them and, you know, modded them to give them their own little personality. And those are the two that you see that are wearing the kind of guard, you know, uniform with the flak jacket, or the bulletproof or bomb-proof jacket, and the shields. But these guys, these are my Delta team people, and I love how they look. They just, man, they look so, I don't know what the word is, just tough. They look like the guys, you know, Hawk would send out, or they'd be in front of Hawk when Hawk is going into, you know, some type of harmful situation, which is probably every day, you know, when the Joes are away. But anyway, you can see there's like a ridiculous amount of detail. There's not any paint on the various jackets or the backpacks or the guns, but I mean, you should be used to that if you've been collecting G.I. Joes for any number of years. They don't really paint up stuff. I mean, we got lucky with a couple of the Retaliation things, but that's because they saved so much money on the reuse of parts that they had to do something to make it look, you know, worthwhile. But this would be my favorite loadout for the Pit Troopers. I really dig that vest. I had another one, and I used it for my custom Rise of Cobra Beachhead, and I just dig all the detail, and I dig the way it looks with the backpack, because it really looks, you know, Delta Force-ish, and I love that about the you know, this design. Yeah, and things like this where they reused some of the Steel Brigade stuff, you know, like that helmet. I don't mind that, you know, because number one, they cast it in a different color, so it stands out even if I put him with my Steel Brigade. His weapons are a little different. I mean, granted, you could give them anything, but, you know, they came with a ton of weapons, so you can kind of dictate which weapons you want to use for that type of character, you know, give him his little personality. And the weapons are well detailed, and I only have a few of these. I have like 4 of them because the Baroness came with them, and Beachhead came with them, and whatnot. But, you know, there's enough little details about this guy that as long as you keep that helmet on and you don't see the Dusty, the 25th anniversary Dusty head, you've got your own little, like, former Steel Brigade, you know, turned Pit Trooper. And I like that. It almost feels like he went up in the ranks, you know, like a Pit Trooper is better than being a regular, you know, I don't know, a guard or a regular green shirt or something, you know. This is like big time. And in my universe, the blue and grays are Shadowhammer, so they're the covert department or division of the Joe force. So these guys are, you know, up there with the best of the best. Anyway, like, if you look at that, and you had a Dusty figure, you could put Dusty next to him and it's exactly the same figure. I mean, there's nothing, they didn't change anything except the color of the mold. That's it, for his clothing and everything, and the paint on the clothing. But that's cool, because look at how much crap they gave you so that you could make him his own person. I mean, man, there are so many options here, it's ridiculous. And if you're really into army building, you have a lot of opportunities to army build each specific type. I'm not that crazy about army building. I just needed 2 or 3 types, you know. Like I told you, 6 is my maximum. 4 is good enough for me. And I roundabout kind of have like 6 troopers, 6 Joe troopers, 2 of which came with the 2 ram cycles that I have. But I mean, look at all this stuff. And I have a couple, I think there's like 1 or 2 guns that are missing. It's just, man, Hasbro doesn't care about us like this anymore. Granted, they gave us those ultimate, quote unquote, Ultimate Duke, where he came with all this shit, but he couldn't use it. These guys can use everything that I have here. You know, everything fits snugly. They can hold every weapon. There's nothing here just for show. Whereas like some of the new shit, yeah, you get a lot of weapons so you can disperse them amongst your other characters, but they don't look this good with their shit in their hands. Because you can't with their shit in their hands. With their stuff in their hands. You can't really get them to look, without a lot of work, you know, a lot of modification. It's hard to get them to look, you know, this good. And this is just out the box, you know what I mean? It's just one of those times where they did things right. And for all the flack that Rise of Cobra gets as a toy line, I don't understand how you could possibly, if Rise of Cobra sucks and they were giving us this quality, how could you buy any of the Retaliation shit, you know? So, you know, as I'm reviewing this, I feel good because it was a good purchase, you know? Something I waited for a long time. I finally got it for a decent price. I like everything that came with it. And then also, I was able to kind of divvy up all this weaponry and accessories amongst the other half-finished Joe Troopers that I had to make a little team of Joe Troopers, you know? So that makes me happy. That's kind of what it's all about, you know? And it's good to see that someone actually gave a shit when they designed these guys, you know? Because it really sucks when you spend the money and then you see that the design doesn't really hold up. And there's a lot of Joes like that. And if there weren't, no one would really customize. And we got to be honest. I mean, people customize a lot of the time because they want things that Hasbro is not willing to give. One of these days, I will still do that video, the what if I ran Hasbro, you know, and I was in charge of, if I was in charge of the G.I. Joe brand, I guess, you know, how would I do things? And I guarantee you guys would feel what I'm saying. But anyway, back to the, you know, review. Hawk just looks raw with his people. I mean, I love the color scheme, even though it's kind of like a GSG9 look. I still dig that color scheme for G.I. Joe because it separates them from, you know, the other branches. And it even separates them from other Joes. You know, the blue and grays just seem to pop in comparison to the green shirts, you know. The articulation is standard Joe articulation. Their elbow joints are kind of, you know, not as forgiving, or, you know, they don't give you as much freedom as the Retaliation Joe Troopers elbows do. But I mean, it's just a little difference, you know. It's not a huge one. But like I said, just look how raw they look together. It's ridiculous. They look like you don't need the other, you know, named Joes. And, you know, it's kind of what I was saying when I was talking about the different ways they could have handled this. You know, just imagine if the movie was called G.I. Joe and they gave you a team of kind of expendable Joes that you didn't, they're all names of lesser known Joes, you know, and just they were led by Hawk. That'd be awesome. And this could be the look and it would work. But anyway, here are all my, you know, Rise of Cobra style, you know, blue and grays, my Shadowhammer ops. I'm still looking for the dress down Duke and Ripcord to go along with these guys. But they look freaking awesome. I had to show you that twice because they look so awesome. They just look good. I mean, Sergeant Stone looks good. I mean, and it's weird that even though they're uniformed, they still have personality, individual personality. So, if you ever get a chance and you see these guys, pick them up. They're worth it. They set off your little, collection and your squads. So, anyway, this has been my review of the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra Pit Trooper. God, this thing, I was waiting for years to find these guys. It's kind of funny to, finally have found them. And I found them last year, and I'm only getting the review up now, which is weird, I had all the pictures put together and everything, just finally getting the review up for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This, I had to show you guys how raw they look with Sergeant Stone. It just looks like this is the team to go in, like a retrieval team or something, and they go in, they blow shit up and get things done, because Sergeant Stone doesn't play around. And in my universe, he still trains Joes, but at the same time, he's from the, the British branch of G.I. Joe. I dig this look. I just dig it. I wish they continued with it. I hope they pick it back up to differentiate, one team of Joe's Roadblocks team from someone else's team. Because, man, they look so official together. It's ridiculous. That's a support team that you don't want to deal with. So, anyway, like I said, pick them up if you see them. They're worth it. They're kind of pricey sometimes, but, if you look, you will find some loose ones for a decent price. You won't break the bank. You can get a couple of them. You can set off your squad and call it a day. So, once again, I'm Strydent. These are the Joe Pit Troopers from Rise of Cobra, and I love them. They're dope. Pick them up if you see them. Peace outside, and enjoy the rest of this picture.